percentage of the blame does Luka deserve for the loss?
I'm going to give him very minimal blame. Skip, I blamed him. I put a lot of the blame on him in game one because he was awful with the turnovers, only scoring 20 points. But if you look at his last two games, he gave you 42 points on Friday night. He gave you 40 points last night. And he did it for you on 11 of 23 shooting. He got to the free throw line 17 times. You love guys getting to the free throws, but you love even more when they make their free throws. He's 14 of 17 from the foul line. Gave you 21 in the fourth quarter when the game was in the balance. They still had an opportunity to win. But, Skip, when you get Reggie Bullock and Max Kleber going 0 for 15, 0 for 12 from 3, it's going to be hard to overcome that. When your starting center, Powell, only gives you 3 points, and guys went 4 of 14 on passes from Luka Dončić. Skip, in the last two games, he's averaging 41 points a game on 50% shooting, 84% from the free throw line, and he's giving you 2 steals a game and a block and a half a game. I don't really know what else he can do because at the end of the day, Skip, he does have teammates, and the teammate does bear some culpability, and they do have some responsibility to make some shots. I'm not saying Reggie Bullock needs to be Steph Curry. I'm not saying that Max Kleber needs to be Nikola Jokic. But damn, can you give us some production? Can you give us, Reggie, can you give us 8 points? Kleber, can you give us 10? Skip, you remember the last series, he seemingly couldn't miss against Phoenix. You see Reggie Bullock, he couldn't miss against Phoenix. Now, damn, he's charging 50 cents for a basket. And he's empty. He got no money because he can't make a basket. So for me, Skip, I'm going to give Luka minimal blame. At bare minimum, you know what? He is a superstar. And, you know, we expect superstars to do so much. But I can only give him 5% of the blame because I don't really know what else he can do. If I told you that Luka, Skip, in the last 2 games was going to be averaging 41 on 50% shooting 84% from the free throw line and he's shooting 50% from the 3. Things that Skip Bayless tell me he's not any good at. He's a terrible 3-point shooter. 50% is great. He's a terrible free throw shooter. 84% is great, considering you say Luka is a below average 3-point shooter and free throw shooter. And he's giving you 41% on 50% shooting from the floor, 47% from the 3, 84% from the free throw line. At the end of the day, Skip, you look at what Steph is getting from Jordan Poole. Look at what he got the other night from Kevon Looney. Kevon Looney scored more points in an NBA game since his, freshman year at UCLA. Jordan Poole chips in. Draymond is going to do Draymond things. Klay Thompson. Because at the end of the day, Skip, they got the best player. Luka Dončić is the best player. But 4 through 5 belong to the Golden State Warriors. So he can't overcome that. One man, I don't care how great he is never going to overcome a great team. And we saw that play out in 86. We saw it play out in 87. We saw it play out in 88, 89, and 90. No one ever said Michael Jordan sold out. They said, how's he supposed to beat those great Celtics teams? How's he supposed to beat those great Pistons teams? Until he got more help. And so Luka needs some help. Dinwiddie chipped in last night, but it wasn't nearly enough. So for me, Skip, I'm going to give him 5% of the blame because for me, when I watch the game, I don't really know what else Luka can do.
Huh. Well, now that you've talked away the whole show, I'll take a quick turn. We got to go to break here in just a second. But given the superstar status that you already afford and a claim for Luka Dončić, I got to go 75% of the blame for Luka because I got to get a new TV. I'm seeing a very different game than you're seeing.
Okay.
And again, you're saying that Skip Bayless says this, I don't say anything. The stats scream he's a lousy shooter from 3 and the free throw line. Going into Friday night's game 2, he was shooting from 3, 34% for his career and for these playoffs. From the free throw line for his whole career, for 4 years of career and through these playoffs going into Friday night's game 3, he was 74% from the free throw line. Those are LeBron stats. LeBron is I'll be nice today, below average 3-point and free throw shooter. And Luka is actually a touch worse than even LeBron is from both 3 and the free throw line. So I will give you this. The irony of games 2 and 3 was Luka had a crazy hot hand, and we have seen LeBron rarely, on occasion, get hot from three and the free throw line. Well, that was Luka, and all your stats are obviously correct in that he's 9 of 19 from three in the last 2 games. That's 47%. Well, that's an aberration. Yep. And from the free throw line, what is he, 27 of 32? 84%. That's 84%. Well, obviously, that's an anomaly. That is an outlier because those are completely off the chart stats for Luka Dončić.
But Skip, that wasn't the question, though. The question wasn't whether this is an anomaly. This wasn't the question whether this is, what it was. You're saying culpability, blame. You're blaming him for shooting 84% from the free throw line, 47% from the three.
I think it was my turn to talk now that you've talked out the whole show, and so I was just getting started, and I got rudely interrupted again. Okay, so
go ahead.
The point is, last night and in Game 2, he had 40% usage rate. He dribbles the air out of the basketball. Dribble, 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 dribble. Wiggins is doing an extraordinary job of making him work. And he starts to wear down. And the harder he works, the longer his teammates have to stand like, are you gonna pass it to me or maybe not? And it's the end of the clock, and I gotta shoot it. And they were as cold as he was hot last night because he's dribbling the air out of the basketball. Now, superstar Luka. What are these games boiled down to? What has Golden State dominated the whole year long? What are they known for? Third quarter domination. Trust me, the Dallas Mavericks know all too well. Their scouting reports are screaming at them. You have to be ready to withstand the onslaught in the third quarter. Luka Dončić.
Correct.
He's the superstar. Wait a second. Now I'm looking at these 3 third quarters in games 1, 2, and 3. Let's see. They lost, Dallas. They lost the first one 34-24. The next third quarter in game 2, they lost 25-13. Last night, they lost 30-21. That means they're losing the games in the third quarter. Well, let's see what this superstar Luka did in the third quarters. In game 1, he was 1 of 3 and 0 for 1 from 3. He scored 4 points. In game 2, he went 2 of 5 and 0 for 2 from 3. And in game 4, he went 2 of 5 and was 0 for 1 from 3. So he's now, he scored a grand total of 10 points in 3 third quarters. He's 5 of 13 from the floor and 0 for 4 from 3. In all 3 third quarters, he shot 4 threes and missed every one of them. And guess how many free throws he shot in the 3 big third quarters, the turnaround quarters? Shannon Sharpe, your superstar has shot 0 free throws in 3 straight third quarters combined. 0 free throws. I don't know what happens. He shrinks. He fades. He disappears. I don't know. 10 total points for 3. He's averaging 3.3 points per third quarter. Way to go, superstar.
So now it's the third quarter. When you've said, since you and I have been on the air, it's the fourth quarter.
It's Golden State. That's what they do. They do the third quarter.
So let me get this right. If Luka were to give you what he's been giving you in the fourth quarter, I think he scored 18 in one fourth quarter. He scored 21 last night in the fourth quarter.
He scored 21 last night.
So if he gives you that in the third quarter and then they falter, what's Skip Bayless' retort going to be? The fourth quarter is where you make your hay. Skip, they're getting crushed on the glass. Golden State Warriors, are not a very good rebounding team, but they're plus 14 per game. They're plus 11 the last 2 games in offensive rebounding. So they're killing them on second chance points. So Skip, a good as shooting team, as the Warriors are, the last thing you want to do is give them a third crack at you, because eventually Steph and Clay Poole are going to get those shots to go down. Draymond is going to get one rolling to the basket where he lays it up. Kevon Looney is going to dunk it. So you got to do a better job on the glass. I just don't understand what the Mavs are thinking. It's because, Skip, it's like everybody's just looking around. Golden State is beating them to every loose ball. So now, not only is Reggie Bullock and Finney Smith, does anybody know has he been kidnapped? I know there was a UFO sighting. I didn't know it was over Dallas, but somehow Finney Smith has been kidnapped. I have not heard. All he does is get technical fouls. He's supposed to be shutting down. He and Reggie Bullock's supposed to be doing a number on Clay and Steph. Now Steph is Michael Jordan and LeBron James has only got over 34 with 7 plus 30 games in the 30-point games in the playoffs.
Okay, so you brought it up. Last night, Luka had 21 points in the fourth quarter. He made three of his threes in the fourth quarter. Let's see what happened when he made them. There was one at 8:30. They were up 11. That was Golden State when he made it. There was one at 3:21. They were up 14, was Golden State at 3:21. One at 1:49 left. They were up 11 again. Empty calories, garbage points. He just piling it, pouring it on late when the game is out of hand. Golden State led by 14-ish for most of the fourth quarter, thanks to the third quarter. Way to go, superstar. Congratulations, Shannon.
But Skip, you and I both know. Let's take KD's best game of his career, when he had that 48, 17, and 10 triple-double. He's going to lose that game if Jeff Green does not go 8 of 9 for the three-point line. If Blake Griffin doesn't give him 18. The Kevin Durant, that monster game, 48, 17, and 10, is going to go by the wayside. What we've seen over the last several years, let's just say the last decade, one man, no matter how great he plays, he can't beat a team as long as, because you look at Giannis. Skip, remember what was that Sunday? Giannis had a 44-20 ball game. I think it was 44-20. And they lost because Jason Tatum matched him, but he also got 20-plus from Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart. So unless someone comes along, so even if I say, okay, Luka push with Steph, Clay, Draymond, so you had Dinwiddie, and I think someone else gave him some points. It's the Draymond 10. It's the Kevon Looney 9. That Max Kleber gave you nothing. That Reggie Bullock gave you nothing. That Finney Smith was very limited on what he gave you. So when you look at that, Skip, I'm like, what? Yeah, Jalen Brunson gave you 20, and Dinwiddie gave you 26. Okay, that matched the big guns for the Warriors. But now I need somebody to match Draymond. I need somebody to match Kevon Looney. I didn't get that, Skip. Well, I know they're not going to match Jordan Poole, so that's where the game is lost, Skip. It's the others. And right now, Golden State others are playing better. Like, think about this, Skip. When was the last time you saw the #1 overall pick be the third or the fourth option? Because that's what Andrew Wiggins is. He's the #1 overall pick just 8 years ago, and he's the third or fourth option.
Interesting. Last night, he looked like the second option to me, because I'm glad you brought that up. Now we get to the real story of Game 2 and Game 3. I am now going to have to rename Luka Dončić. I'm going to have to call him Luka Dončić, because there's no D in Doncic. It's Dončić, because Luka got absolutely torched on Friday night, especially in the second half. And last night was actually even more embarrassing because Andrew Wiggins just hunts him, or at least they hunt Andrew Wiggins and try to get him isolated on Doncic as many times as possible, which is why last night, would you believe that Andrew Wiggins went 11 of 20 for 27 points? 18 of those were scored in the paint. 18 actually in the restricted area, because he was just terrorizing Luka at the rim. And could we please see the dunk of the night, if not the playoffs?
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, this epitomized last night to me was Andrew Wiggins terrorizing poor little Luka on this dunk, if we could please see it. Here we go. Good night, Luka. Oh, and Luka flops and goes down like he got hit in the face, and the ref actually bought it for a while until Steve Kerr said, no, I challenge, and they took about a 5-second look and said, you're right, Steve. It's just a basket. There's no foul. There's no offensive foul. There's no defensive foul. It's just a flat-out cock it back and dunk it as hard as you can dunk it on Luka. Every time I looked up, Wiggins was on Luka just the way Wiggins was on Luka on defense. He was all over Luka on defense when Luka tried to guard him, because Luka guards nobody. He just sort of stands around in the lane. And would you believe that last night Andrew Wiggins got 6 offensive rebounds because Luka blocks out nobody? He blocks out nobody. He just stands in the lane and looks around and hopes he can grab a loose ball rebound. Way to go, Shannon.
Well, Skip, that's
superstar.
Well, Skip, that's what they try to do, and what they've been able to do is that they put Luka on the least dynamic offensive player. Well, unfortunately, if you can't put him on Clay, you can't put him on Steph because they're perpetual motions. You're not going to put him. Maybe you should put him on Kevon Looney. I don't know why. Maybe they should put him on Draymond. But you can't stand, and because they're trying to put him on Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins is a wing player that moves. So while you're right, Luka, a lot of times Luka get rebounds and the rebounds come right to him. Well, Andrew Wiggins is racing him to the ball, and so hence 6 offensive rebounds. But if you look at it, you'll take this. If Luka gives you 40, 41, you'll offset that with Andrew Wiggins is 27, because more than likely Steph is going to give you 30. Now if I get 19 or 20 from Clay, now Jordan Poole, Draymond, and Kevon Looney. I need your 3 guys, Dallas, to match the production that the Warriors 3 auxiliary 3 guys give you. Can someone match Draymond's production? Can someone match Jordan Poole's production? And can someone match Kevon Looney? Skip, in the third quarter Friday night, as you was talking about, they have this lead. And I hear Jalen Brunson talk about after the game, they were great looks. Let me ask you a question. What's a better look, a wide open 3 or a free throw? You were in the bonus at 6.5 minutes, and you're still jacking up 3s because it's fool's goal. They're great looks. There's not a 3 that's ever been attempted that's a better look than a free throw. And while you keep taking those 3s, Skip, guess how Golden State get back in the game? Layup, dunk, and you still taking 3s, and nobody's smart enough. Nobody on Dallas is smart enough to, hold on, guys, we're in the bonus. Let's just drive the ball. And Steve Kerr's doing a great job, Skip. He plays man. He jumps in a 2-1-2. He jumps in a 3-2. He's jumping in and out of zones, and it seems like it's confusing him. You know at some point in time you're going to see the zone. J-Kid, you've seen the zone every game. Why are they not better prepared for it? Because it seems like every time they jump into the zone, the first thing that you do in the zone, you turn the ball over. And I need to know why.
Okay, I'm going to finish about Andrew Wiggins because you have scoffed at him when I have labeled him an arriving star. Not a superstar, but a star. And I remind you, he did make his first all-star team this year. I remind you, the star of Game 6 against Memphis. And remember, Memphis was the real Western Conference Finals. That to me, against Golden State, that was the series, not this one, Memphis. I picked Memphis to win the West. I still believe they would have if Dylan Brooks had not been suspended for effectively games 2 and 3, and if Ja hadn't gotten hurt for the final 3 games of that series. But in Game 6, the closeout game, the guy who hit all the big shots, especially for the first half of the fourth quarter, was Andrew Wiggins. Made 3 big threes and a big 15-foot jump shot. Those were the biggest shots in the game that kept Memphis at bay, that held them off and actually gave Golden State a 3-point lead. And then Steph went along for the ride. He jumped on the bandwagon at the back end of the bandwagon to close the game out. So Andrew Wiggins has arrived this playoffs, and he is arriving on the offensive end, especially in this series, because he's guarded by Doncic. That's why.
Yes. Skip, you know why he's arrived? Because he has the easiest job. He's the #1 overall pick, and he's the 4th option. All the pressure is on the nucleus. Draymond, Clay, and Steph. So he gets to ride along. Anything that he gives you, Skip, is icing. Anything he gives you is gravy on the Salisbury steak. Skip, there's no pressure on Andrew Wiggins. We saw when Andrew Wiggins had the pressure in Minnesota, what he looked like. You saw when he had expectations in Minnesota, what he looked like. We saw what he looked like when Steph was hurt. We saw that. Don't pretend like you didn't see Andrew Wiggins. I'm not finna let you talk about like Andrew Wiggins like he's Jason Tatum. He's one of these young guns that's coming. He's not.
Wait,
he has
Jason
no
Tatum?
expectation.
The same Jason Tatum who disappeared the other night in Boston? That guy?
We're going to talk about him. We're going to talk about him. But you and I both know there's a difference between being the guy with expectations and being a guy. And right now, Andrew Wiggins is a guy with no expectations. Anything that he gives you outside, you graciously accept it. But there are no expectations on him. They're not expecting him. Expect him to give you 27 a night, like they do Steph, like they do all these other guys, like Luka is expected to play every single night. Andrew Wiggins has only had those expectations in Minnesota, and he never got to the playoffs. Now, all of a sudden, he made it to the play-in game last year, and now with a fully healthy Steph, Clay back, and Draymond, he's going along for a great ride. But that's not to demean him, but don't you talk about Andrew Wiggins got all these lofty expectations, and he's balling out of his mind. It's easy to ball.
Well, I just told you,
to ball.
Without him, Golden State would have faced a Game 7 back at home against Memphis that would have been very dangerous for Golden State.
But, Skip, he has no expectations. It's easier to play when you have no expectations as opposed to when you have those lofty expectations.
Well,
you know that.
He's creating expectations as we speak.
Okay. All right.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.